Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most talked about television moments in recent British media history, the infamous clash between comedy titan Ricky Gervais and loose women stalwart Denise Welch that ended with Gervais being unceremoniously kicked off the set. Picture this: it's a crisp autumn morning in a bustling ITV studio in London, the kind of day where the Thames glimmers under a rare patch of blue sky, and the loose women panel is buzzing with their usual mix of gossip, giggles, and unfiltered opinions. The show, a staple of daytime TV since 1999, has long been a platform for women to air their views on everything from politics to pop culture, often with a dash of drama that keeps viewers glued to their sofas with mid-morning tea in hand. Today, though, the air feels thicker, charged with anticipation because the guest of honor is none other than Ricky Gervais, the sharp-tongued creator of The Office, Extras, and Afterlife, a man whose Netflix specials have racked up millions of views for their no-holds-barred takedowns of celebrity culture, religion, and wokeness. Gervais, with his signature beard and mischievous grin, strolls onto the set dressed in a casual black t-shirt and jeans, looking every bit the rock star comedian who's more at home roasting Hollywood elites at the Golden Globes than chatting about relationship advice. The audience, a sea of mostly middle-aged women in the studio and countless more tuning in from living rooms across the UK, erupts in applause as he takes his seat beside the panel, host Christine Lampard, ever the poised professional in a tailored red blouse, alongside regulars like Nadia Sawalha, who's all smiles and quick wit, and of course, Denise Welch, the fiery actress from Waterloo Road and Coronation Street, known for her outspoken defenses of mental health advocacy and her unapologetic Geordie accent that cuts through any room like a hot knife through butter. Denise, in a vibrant green dress that matches her bold personality, leans forward with that trademark spark in her eye, the one that says she's ready to dive headfirst into any debate. The segment kicks off lightly and Christine introduces Ricky with praise for his latest stand-up tour, Humanity, which sold out arenas worldwide, joking about how his atheism has made him the darling of skeptics and the devil incarnate to the pious. Ricky chuckles, launching into a self-deprecating bit about turning 60 and realizing his idea of a wild night now involves a herbal tea and an early bedtime, drawing easy laughs from the crowd. It's all going swimmingly, the kind of fluff that makes loose women the comfort food of television, until the conversation veers toward current events, specifically the ongoing culture wars around free speech, cancel culture, and the role of comedy in a hypersensitive society. You see, just weeks prior, Gervais had gone viral on Twitter for a tweet storm defending Dave Chappelle's latest Netflix special, The Closer, where Chappelle tackled transgender issues with his usual blend of humor and provocation, sparking boycotts from some quarters and cheers from others. Loose Women, with its predominantly female panel and audience, had covered the topic extensively, often framing it through lenses of empathy and lived experience, and it's here that the powder keg ignites. Denise, who's been vocal about her own battles with depression and addiction, as detailed in her memoir The Unwelcome Visitor, shifts in her seat, her expression hardening as Christine tosses the ball to her. Ricky, you've been so bold on social media about these comedy controversies, so what do you say to those who feel your jokes punch down on marginalized voices? Ricky, ever the provocateur, leans back with a sly smile, retorting, look, comedy's job isn't to tiptoe around feelings, it's to hold a mirror up to the absurdities of life. If we can't laugh at ourselves, we're doomed to a world of safe spaces and trigger warnings, and honestly, who'd want to watch that stand-up? The audience titters nervously, but Denise isn't laughing. She fires back, her voice rising like a storm gathering over the North Sea. That's easy for you to say, Ricky, from your pedestal of white male privilege. Some of us have fought real battles, not just tweeted about them, and your so-called humor can wound people who are already bleeding. The studio falls into a hush, broken only by the faint hum of cameras and the producer's urgent whispers off stage. Christine tries to mediate, her Scottish lilt soothing as she says, let's keep it civil, ladies and gents, we're all friends here, but the damage is done. Ricky, his face flushing under the hot lights, counters with his trademark bluntness, privilege, I've clawed my way from a council estate in reading to global fame without a silver spoon. Denise. And wounds? Life wounds us all. A comedy heals by making us confront it, not hide from it. The exchange escalates rapidly, words flying like sparks from a flint. Denise accuses him of insensitivity toward mental health struggles, drawing parallels to her own advocacy work with the charity Sane, while Ricky defends his afterlife character Tony's raw portrayal of grief as therapeutic catharsis, not mockery. Nadia jumps in with a light-hearted quip about needing a referee, but it's futile. The panel is a battlefield now, with audience members shifting uncomfortably, some nodding in agreement with Denise's passion, others cheering Ricky's unyielding logic. Backstage, producers are scrambling, monitoring social media feeds where #Gervais vs Welch is already trending, tweets pouring in from fans on both sides. Gervais supporters hailing him as free speech's last bastion, Welch allies decrying toxic masculinity in comedy. As the argument peaks, with Denise slamming her hand on the desk, you're trivializing pain for laughs, and it's not funny. Ricky stands abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor like a thunderclap. You know what? This isn't a conversation, it's an inquisition. I'm out to enjoy your echo chamber, he snaps, yanking off his mic pack with a dramatic flourish that sends it clattering to the ground. The audience gasps collectively, a wave of shock rippling through the room as security edges forward, unsure whether to intervene. Christine, wide-eyed, stammers, "Ricky, please, let's take a break," but he's already striding toward the exit, flipping a peace sign over his shoulder that sequel parts defiance and disdain. In that instant, the kickoff happens, not literally, but figuratively, as a producer signals to cut to commercial, effectively booting Gervais from the live feed. The screen fades to an ad for tea bags, leaving millions wondering what just transpired. This wasn't just a spat, it was a microcosm of Britain's divided soul, where comedy collides with compassion, and free expression grapples with the right not to be offended. As the break lingers, whispers circulate. Was this scripted drama to boost ratings, or a genuine meltdown? Loose Women has a history of fiery moments. Remember Denise's epic rant against Matt Hancock's I'm a Celebrity stint in 2022, where she halted the show to declare she'd face him in the jungle, or her clash with co-stars over Meghan Markle, yelling "Don't shout at me," when Gloria Hunniford tried to calm her. But this felt seismic, a clash of titans that would dominate headlines from The Sun to The Guardian. Gervais, no stranger to controversy, recall his 2020 Golden Globes monologue skewering everyone from Tom Hanks to Leonardo DiCaprio retreats to his dressing room, phone in hand, already drafting a tweet that'll garner 1 million likes by tea time. Denise, breathing heavily, accepts a glass of water from Nadia, her eyes blazing with the fire of someone who's stared down tabloids and therapy couches alike. The commercial break ends, and Christine reopens with a diplomatic pivot to lighter fare, but the elephant in the room, or rather, the comedian who just stormed out, looms large. Viewers at home flood the switchboard, some outraged at the censorship of Gervais, others praising Denise for standing her ground. Social media erupts, memes of Ricky's exit morph into viral gold, gifs of his mic drops circulating faster than gossip at a hen party. Pundits weigh in. Piers Morgan, ever the contrarian, tweets solidarity with Gervais, calling Loose Women a woke witch hunt, while feminist voices applaud Welch for calling out comedy's dark underbelly. Behind the glamour, the human toll unfolds. Crew members exchange worried glances, knowing reshoots might be needed if this leaks pre-air, though in live TV, it's all raw and real. Gervais, cooling off in his car en route to a radio interview, reflects on the irony of promoting a show about humanity's flaws, only to embody them on air. Denise, meanwhile, steels herself for the backlash, her phone buzzing with messages from fans and family, a reminder that her candor, while polarizing, stems from a place of profound empathy forged in personal fire. This incident isn't isolated, it's the latest in a string of Loose Women blow-ups that highlight the show's role as a pressure valve for societal tensions. Think back to Kay Adams addressing a brutal row with Denise after an early pull-off air in 2024, or Denise's swipe at co-stars post-Stacey Solomon clash, admitting she prefers some panelists but welcomes fresh blood. ITV execs, watching from their glass offices, rub their hands. Ratings will spike, no doubt, as controversy is the lifeblood of tabloid TV. Yet, beneath the spectacle, lies a deeper question. In an era where every word is weaponized, can comedy and conversation coexist without casualties? As we delve deeper into this saga, we'll unpack the backstories of these two icons, the cultural fault lines they exposed, and the fallout that reshaped daytime discourse. But for now, let's rewind to the build-up, savoring the tension that made this moment inevitable. Gervais, born in 1961 to a working-class family, dropped out of university for music before pivoting to comedy, his observational genius turning everyday banalities into biting satire. Welch, a decade his junior, rose through soap operas, her role as Natalie Horrocks and Corey cementing her as a national treasure, but it was her honesty about bipolar disorder that truly endeared her to millions. Their world saw his atheist irreverence, her empathetic activism were bound to collide, and Loose Women, with its unscripted intimacy, was the perfect arena. The invitation to Gervais, likely a bid to lure younger viewers, blending his Netflix clout with the show's loyal base. Little did they know, it would unearth landmines, as the argument replayed in slow motion on social clips, dissected by podcasters and columnists. One thing was clear, this wasn't just entertainment. It was a cultural rumble in the jungle, pitting wit against warmth in a battle for Britain's comedic conscience. And with Gervais' exit echoing like a mic drop heard round the world, the question lingers: who really won? Stay tuned as we explore the immediate aftermath, where apologies were scarce, and the internet became the true judge and jury. Fast forward through the commercial haze, and the Loose Women studio attempts a resurrection, Christine Lampard steering the ship with the finesse of a captain navigating icebergs, her voice steady as she quips, "Well, that was more excitement than a Tuesday slot usually brings. Let's talk Bake Off instead." The audience, still buzzing like a hive disturbed, offers polite applause, but the ghost of Gervais' departure lingers, his empty chair a glaring void beside the panel's colorful array. Denise Welch, her cheeks still flushed from the verbal joust, sips her water with a defiant tilt of her chin, whispering to Nadia, "He needed to hear it. Comedy isn't a free pass to hurt." Off-camera, producers huddle in a frenzy, one barking into a headset, "Cut the feed if it leaks." We spin this as passionate debate, not drama, but in the age of smartphones, containment is futilely. Grainy clips from audience members' phones are already uploading to TikTok. Hashtags like #LooseWomen blow up and #Ricky walks out climbing the charts at warp speed. Back in his chauffeured Mercedes snaking through London traffic, Ricky Gervais slumps against the leather seat, his phone exploding with notifications, a text from longtime partner Jane Fallon, the best-selling author whose youthful glow once wowed Loose Women viewers in 2022, reading, "Babe, you okay? Saw the storm off a classic you, but breathe." He fires off a tweet, "Left Loose Women early, not because I can't take the heat, but because life's too short for sanctimony." Comedy, if it doesn't offend, it's not doing its job. #free speech. Boom, 500,000 likes in minutes. Retweets from comics like Joe Rogan and Russell Brand piling on, turning the mishap into a rallying cry for the U and woke. Meanwhile, ITV social team scrambles, posting a bland statement, "We value all viewpoints on Loose Women and regret any discomfort caused." Tune in tomorrow for more candid chat. But the Damagia or Fula is done. Viewing figures for the episode, once aired in full, with strategic edits to soften the edges, skyrocket 40%, proving once again that conflict is clickbait's best friend. Denise, fielding calls from her agent as the panel wraps, feels the familiar sting of backlash, trolls dubbing her woke warrior and worse, but also an outpouring from fans who've battled similar shadows, thanking her for voicing the invisible wounds. Her son, Matty Healy of the 1975 fame, even chimes in on Instagram stories, "Mum's a lioness, a roar on." The evening news cycle ignites. BBC Newsnight dissects it as symptomatic of post-Brexit polarization. The Daily Mail runs with Gervais flees feminist firing squad, complete with paparazzi shots of him at a pub later, pint in hand, looking bemused rather than bitter. Talk shows buzz. Graham Norton invites both for a makeup special, but Gervais declines with a polite pass, "Thanks, I've had my drama quota." Denise, true to form, appears on Woman's Hour, unpacking how her advocacy isn't anti-comedy but pro-healing, recounting a personal anecdote from her bipolar lows where a comedian's quip felt like salt in a fresh cut. The Clash ripples outward, inspiring think pieces in The Spectator on comedy's endangered edges and in The Independent on empathy's role in entertainment. Comedians weigh in. Dawn French tweets support for Denise. Hurt people hurt, heal people heal. Let's laugh with, not at. While James Corden, fresh off plagiarism accusations from Gervais in 2023, stays mum, perhaps wisely. The incident even spawns parody sketches on Friday Night with Jonathan Ross. A lookalike Gervais storms off a mock panel, mic in tow, to gales of laughter. But beneath the memes, real conversations bloom. University debate clubs host Gervais vs. Welch, comedy's moral compass, drawing packed houses of Gen Z eager to parse punchlines from Pain. ITV bosses, in a closed-door meeting, pat themselves on the back for the buzz but caution future bookings. No more lone wolves balance the panel. Gervais, retreating to his Hampstead home with Jane, where their rescue dogs provide comic relief, journals thoughts for a potential afterlife spin-off episode mirroring the fiasco. Tony Johnson raging against daytime TV's hypocrisies. Denise heads to her Cheshire haven, surrounded by family, reflecting on 25 years of loose women tenure. From her swipe at co-stars post-Solomon spat to defending Meghan amid royal rows, she tells a reporter, "It wasn't personal, it was principled." Ricky's brilliant, but brilliance without breaks can crash. The Weekend tabloids feast, spreads with timeline infographics, from Gervais' council estate roots to Welch's soap stardom, framing it as class clash or gender grudge. Podcasts dissect audio snippets. A Ricky's echo chamber barb replayed endlessly, Denise's white male privilege line mummed into oblivion. By Monday, apologies trickle. Christine posts an Instagram live. "We adore Ricky debates get heated. Hearts stay open." Gervais responds with a video from his Netflix set. "All good at Denise is a force, respect the fire. No full mea culpa, but olive branches extended." The true fallout. Amplified voices. Mental health helplines report a spike in calls from comedy fans grappling with offense, while free speech orgs like Index on Censorship cite it in campaigns. Loose Women evolves subtly. Future segments include comedy with care workshops, inviting comics to panel with sensitivity training. Gervais tours his new special, riffing on the event. Kicked off Loose Women. "Nah, I quit before they served the scones." Laughter ensues, but with a nod to the nuance. Denise guests on Have I Got News for You, turning the tale into triumph, her wit shining. Months later, at a charity gala, they cross paths. A awkward handshake, shared chuckle, fancy a rematch, only if it's scripted. The crowd roars. This chapter closes not with victors, but with velocity, a catalyst for dialogue in a divided discourse. Yet, as echoes fade, whispers of sequels stir. Will daytime dare invite him back? For now, the script flips to Backstreet, where roots reveal why Sparks flew so fiercely. Gervais' atheism, honed in philosophy classes abandoned for punk bands, birthed a worldview where mockery is medicine. Welch's resilience, tempered by tabloid trials and therapy triumphs, champions stories over satire. Their collision, inevitable as rain in Manchester. And in TV's Grand Theatre, it reminds us, the best scenes are born from the boldest breaks. As we pivot to the cultural quake, consider how this mini-eruption mirrors megatrends from Chappelle's Defenses to Rolling's Rosa, where humor hunts sacred cows, and cows kick back. Diving deeper into the cultural cataclysm unleashed by that fateful Loose Women face-off, it's impossible to ignore how Ricky Gervais and Denise Welch's dust-up became a lightning rod for the broader schisms tearing at the fabric of modern British and indeed, global society, where the line between laughing at life's lunacies and lacerating its most vulnerable grows blurrier by the tweet. In the weeks following the incident, think tanks and talking heads alike pored over it as exhibit A in the trial of comedy's conscience. Is humor's highest calling to provoke without prejudice, or to provoke with precision, mindful of the collateral damage to those already teetering on edges unseen?